All right, now, many of us thought today that Nancy Meyer, a PhD student at CGU and School of Religion, was wandering around holding a pole aimlessly all day. And yet I know deep down that it was much more than that. So Nancy, why were you walking around holding a pole with points marked on it all day?
Well, it was to help them survey the area so that they could have a map of all of the terrain as well as all of the construction in the area, including benches and pathways and other spots like that, so they have some idea of what the area looks like within the context of the dig.
And what was the problem? Why didn't we have this information previously?
I don't believe it was taken accurately previously. I believe it was inaccurate and therefore had to be redone.
All right, and what are some of the machines that we presently use that are different than what they had, say, 30 years ago?
Well, compared to 30 years ago, we have this lovely device which gives us not only distance but altitude using lasers and the feedback from the lasers.
And what is that? Is that tied into anything in particular?
Well, that would help us with all the elevations of the dig, including not just on the dig site itself, but within the context of the dig and the height of the tell, where we are within the dig, in the tell, etc. So that anytime we do find something, anytime we create a new hole, anytime we find a new bulk or a wall rather, we can tell exactly where that is in space.
And is in space meaning the world in general because it's tied into the international worldwide grid?
Precisely.
And this is one of the things that they didn't have 30 years ago is we had a few grid points, and so you worked within the context of your tell, but through the improvement of technology, we can now place this within the three-dimensional world itself with a precision that we couldn't do before. So one of the problems we had setting up the excavation at the beginning of the season is that not all of the points from the previous excavation could easily be found, and we learned that some of those points were a little off, and that could be through erosion, that could be through new building of the site, that could be through architecture from the previous excavation. It's a whole series of things. And so what we finally decided to do is that we had to be able to situate the excavation within the modern technological grid that has been laid across the entire Earth. And so what Nancy did today is somebody was shooting the points and she had to walk around basically the entire tell and take a series of grid points so that we can tie and feed everything back. The more access points we have around the actual area where we're excavating, the easier it is for us to set up the various stations at the beginning of the day so that we can measure top and bottom levels of everything so that we know where every artifact that we find that we need recorded fits in the three-dimensional space.
Not only that, but it will also make it much easier in the future for future digs because we'll know exactly where we were and exactly what we need to dig down to get to where we stopped.
And all of us were in complete agreement that Nancy holds a pole like nothing you've ever seen before. So thank you, Nancy.
You're very welcome.